Halifax, despite escalating Canada-US tensions over tariffs. The mayor of Yarmouth, NS, says she expects tourists to flow freely this summer between her port town and the States. "I think we'll be seeing more American tourists," said Mayor Pam Mood in an interview. The CAT FERRT prepares to depart Yarmouth and heading to Maine in 2016. The town's mayor says she's confident Americans and Canadians will continue to take the boat between both countries despite the trade war. Andrew Vaughan, The Canadian Press. Yarmouth is the landing site of a privately operated, publicly subsidized ferry between Nova Scotia and Portland, Maine. The ferry connects southern Nova Scotia to the U.S. more directly than any land options. Mood said the ferry brings tens of thousands of tourists to Yarmouth each summer, a significant influx for the town of about 7,000 residents. Read more. Article continued. Below opinion, there are more reasons than ever to not visit the U.S. Trump says he'll punish the people of Canada because of Trudeau's news conference. A special place in hell. Trump aides hurl insults at Trudeau in unprecedented U.S. attack on Canadian leader. The U.S. recently imposed tariffs on Canadian steel, which sparked retaliatory tariffs on a number of American products being imported to Canada. Tensions were further stoked after Trudeau criticized Trump's actions at the G7 summit, and Trump responded with a public threat, saying, "That's going to cost a lot of money for the people of Canada." Some Canadians are calling for a boycott on travel to the U.S. in response to Trump's tariffs and attacks. Mood said she's aware of those boycotts on the Canadian side, but she doesn't think it will negatively impact the flow of travelers through her town. Additionally, she said she doesn't think there's any ill will toward Canada amongst the Americans who would typically visit her shores. Article continued. Below, we are crossing into the northeastern seaboard with the CAT ferry, and we've always had great relations with them, she said. She added that there are lots of family ties between Maine and Nova Scotia, which she believes will keep people traveling in both directions, regardless of the political climate. Shane Ward, the owner of the Red Shed, a seafood and burger shack a block away from the ferry terminal, said tourism is important to Yarmouth, but he isn't concerned about the impact of the trade war. He focuses more on local customers anyway. Tourism does make a difference, but at the same time we've done seasons when there wasn't a ferry, and we had a good season, he said in an interview. Of course we'd like to see more tourism, but I don't think we should be basing everything on tourism, though. It should be like gravy in the pot, like extra icing on the cake, he said. Ward also said he'd rather see Canada take the trade war as an opportunity to assert its independence from the U.S. "I've said this for a long time, we should sort of push away from the States and start standing on our own 2 feet, he said. Star Metro reached out to Bay Ferries Limited, which operates the Yarmouth ferry, about this summer's bookings, but they did not respond in time for publication.